Minnesota won the first one, and now in this series we could get a sweep, or it could go into a game 3. Hello everybody, my name is Jeremiah. Welcome back to the BCL quarterfinals. Here in this series, the Walleyes are hoping to get it done and sweep the Sparks here at home as we head into this second game of the quarterfinal series between the 4-seeded Minnesota Walleyes and 8-seeded Seattle Sparks. Here we go with the top of the first. 0-1. Lower. And they'll stay. 0-1. 0-2. There's one out. Higher. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay. One run already scores from a triple, and it's 1-0 Seattle. 0-1. Lower. Oh! Already starting with one of those. There's out number 2. 0-1. Lower. Higher. Lower. And they'll stay. One more run scores off of another triple, and it's 2-0 Seattle. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. Higher. Ouch! Risky move on that one, but you never know with this game sometimes. There's out number 3, and that's the end of the top of the first for the Seattle Sparks. And now it's the Walleyes' turn. Bottom of the first. Here we go. Lower. Ouch! Another one. There's out number 1. 0-1. Higher. There's the second out. 0-1. Lower. Higher. No way! Oh, that's insane! There's the third out and the final out of the first inning, as we head now into the top of the second. 0-1. 0-2. There's one out. 0-1. Lower. And they'll stay. 0-1. 1-1. Higher. Higher. Ouch. There is out number 2. 0-1. Lower. Lower. Ouch. There is out number 3. Now we head into the top, to the bottom of the second, where the score remains the same. The Walleyes are still down by 2 runs. It's 2-0. Lower. Ouch. There's out number 1. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay. Lower. Oof. There is out number 1. 0-1. Higher. There's out number 2. Lower. And they'll stay. 0-1. Higher. Lower. 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 A 3-run home run! And now the Walleyes have the lead. It's 3-2. Lower. Higher. Lower. And there is the third out of the bottom of the second. Now it's time for the top of the third. Higher. Lower. Higher. Lower. And look at that, right off the bat. It's a solo home run for Seattle. And this game is now tied. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. Higher. Lower. Higher. Ouch. A risky move on that one. There is out number 1. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay. lower, higher. And they'll stay. Seattle has regained the lead. It's 4-3. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. There's out number 2. Lower. And they'll stay. 0-1. Higher. Ouch. And there's out number 3. Retiring the 3rd inning for the Seattle Sparks. And now it's the bottom of the 3rd, where the Walleyes are back into trailing. 0-1. Lower. And they'll stay. Lower. Lower. Ouch. There's out number 1. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay scoring position for the Walleyes. 0-1. Higher. There is out number 2. Lower. Lower. Oh, no. Ouch. They could not capitalize on those runners left on the bases. As now we head into the top of the 4th. Where the Sparks are still leading 4-3. 0-1. 0-2. There's 1 out. Lower. Higher. Lower. Oof. There is out number 2. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay. Lower. Oof. There's out number 3. Retiring the 4th inning for the Sparks. They did not gain any runs during that inning, during that half of the inning. And now it's Minnesota's turn. Bottom of the 4th. Lower. They'll stay. Lower. Higher. Higher. Lower. Oh! Oh no! There is out number 1. Higher. Wow! And there's the 2nd out. 0-1. 0-2. Higher. Wow. A very close call. And a sigh of relief for the Seattle Sparks. Their lead was about to be no longer as of that bottom of the 4th. But the score remains the same. It is still 4-3 as we head into the top of the 5th. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. And there's out number 1. Lower. There's out number 2. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. Wow. A quick 1-2-3 for the 5th inning for the Seattle Sparks. Now we head into the bottom of the 5th for Minnesota. Lower. And they'll stay. Higher. Higher. Ouch. There's out number 1. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. Lower. And they'll stay. 0-1. 0-2. Higher. And there's the 2nd out. 0-1. Lower. Higher. Oh no! Ouch! And that's how the 5th inning will end. Now it's the top of the 6th. It is still 4-3 Seattle. Lower. There's out number 1. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. And they'll stay. Lower. Lower. Oh, ouch. There's the 2nd out. Lower. And that's all she wrote for the top of the 6th. And now we head into the bottom of the 6th. 0-1. Higher. And they'll stay. 1-0. Higher. There's one out. Lower. Lower. Oof. There's 2 outs. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay. Scoring position for the Minnesota Walleyes. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay. Regaining the lead for Minnesota. It is 5-4 off of those 2 runs scored from the double. 0-1. 0-2. There's 2 outs. 1-0. 1-1. 1-2. And there is the final out of the 6th inning. Now it is the top of the 7th that we go to, where the Sparks are trailing 5-4. Higher, lower. Oof. There's the first out. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. And there's the second out. 0-1. 1-1. 1-2. Lower. Lower. Oh, higher. And they'll stay on that triple scoring position. 0-1. 0-2. Nothing will be done about it though. And now as we head into the bottom of the 7th, we have our friendly reminder for every game to stretch your body once in a while. It never hurts. Never does. Never hurts. Always can help. Here we go with the bottom of the 7th. Lower. Higher. They'll stay. 0-1. 0-2. There's one out. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay. And now the Walleyes have increased their lead to 2. It is 6-4. 0-1. Lower. Ouch! There's out number 2. Lower. Lower. And that's all she wrote for the 7th inning as we head into the top of the 8th. The Sparks are now trailing by 2 runs. 0-1. 1-1. 1-2. There's the first out. 0-1. 0-2. Lower. And there's the second out. 0-1. 0-2. A quick 1-2-3 for the top of the 8th. And Seattle did not want that as we head into the bottom of the 8th. Here we go. Lower. And they'll stay. Lower. Higher. Ouch. Risky play. There's out number 1. Lower. Lower. Higher. And they'll stay. And now the Walleyes lead it 7-4. Higher. There is out number 2. 0-1. Lower. Lower. Oof. That was a risky one. But now it all comes down to the top of the 9th. Can the Walleyes defense prevail and make a stop to sweep the series and move on to the semifinals? We shall see in the top of the 9th. 0-1. 0-2. There's one out. 0-1. Higher. And they'll stay. 0-1. 0-2. There's 2 outs. Just one more for Minnesota. 0-1. 0-2. And that will do it! The Minnesota Walleyes sweep the series and move on to the semifinals with a final score in this second game of 7-4.
Now that's one more series gone. And now we just have one more left of this quarterfinal series before we advance into the semifinals. And that is the 2-seeded Houston Galaxy against the 7-seeded Florida Blaze. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. And if you liked it, hit that share button, copy link, however you like to share your videos. We would love your support in spreading the BCL.